This episode is brought to you by Simple Funding LLC. For all of your pre-settlement funding needs, contact Simple Funding LLC to receive your money promptly. They're a customer-centric legal funding company that provides exceptional funding solutions at affordable rates. Simple Funding covers a diverse range of cases, including car accidents, slip and falls, worker compensation, medical malpractice, wrongful death, and more. They recognize that life goes on and you need to access your funds immediately, which is why they offer clients a swift and efficient process with minimal documentation requirements. For more information, visit simplefundingllc.com or contact them directly at 678-855-6232. Enjoy the show. And welcome back to True Stories from a Real Private Eye. I'm your host, Vinnie Coppola. With me, as always, is Lynn Lambdin, a real private investigator from Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you, Simple Funding, for sponsoring this episode. Lynn, before we begin, I just want to read this email we got. It's addressed to you. It says, Lynn, is there a legal reason you choose not to mention people's names from certain cases? That's a good question right there. Yeah,
that's a good question. And Vinny, I decided not to mention people's names. I don't want to go through the process of being sued and spending a whole bunch of money to prove that I'm right. You know, we're allowed to talk about the truth.
Right.
And I can mention these people's names all day long, and I could prove that it's true by going to the courthouse and pulling these files. But in order for me to do so, I would have to get sued, hire an attorney,
and spend some money,
and spend a whole bunch of money, and probably have to do it on multiple defendants on each episode or each case.
Yeah,
and it's just not worth spending that kind of money. To prove that I'm right.
Right.
If anybody ever wanted to know about these cases, they could always email. And I'd be more than happy to look up the case number and tell you what court it's in, and you could just go to the courthouse and pull the file and read it yourself.
Well, there you go. That's that's handy. And for those of you that don't know, we do have a show email, and it's realprivateeyestories@gmail.com. So any questions you might have for Lynn, or even if you have one for me, please send us an email. We will certainly answer it. And I'm excited about this one, Lynn. Tell us what we got this week.
Well, we call this one Black Widow, and this one was named Black Widow. This was dubbed Black Widow by the great Ken Krause, and I'll tell you how I become to meet him. But I was working for a divorce attorney, and I got a call one day to the divorce had already been filed. I was just called in to catch the gentleman cheating. And in the process of doing the investigation, our client, who was the wife in this case, was the only married one. Her husband was cheating. The other party who he was cheating with was not married. So we were doing a little surveillance on him, and he was staying in hotels with this woman. We knew it. I mean, it was no big secret. He wasn't really hiding what he was doing. Drinking a lot. He was doing a lot of drinking, probably doing some drugs. And so in the process, his girlfriend said, your client broke in to my house and stole some things. Now, this was what the Black Widow told the police. She filed a police report in the city of Roswell, because that's where she lived. The Black Widow lived. So I went on a mission.
So the Black Widow is the wife of the man who's cheating.
The Black Widow is the
girlfriend.
The girlfriend.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So at this point, I went on a mission to prove that my client did not do this, because my client was just a Miss Goody Two Shoes. She wouldn't even jaywalk. So I knew she didn't do it. So she said she broke into her house, and when I got the police report from the police department, it gave a date and time and items that were stolen. So I go through this police report with a fine-tooth comb, and I said that she broke in the house at 3:30 in the afternoon, and it also said that she was in school at a college here in Georgia. So I go to the college, and she wasn't in college. She wasn't even enrolled in college. She had been enrolled 2 semesters before, but at this particular semester, she wasn't enrolled.
Is this the girlfriend or the woman?
This is the Black Widow.
The Black Widow was in school?
No, the Black Widow told the Roswell detective that when her house was broken into, she was in college.
Oh,
And that's why she wasn't at home when her house got broken into.
okay.
So, strike number one. And
did anybody ask what the Black Widow was studying in college?
No, wasn't psychology or lying or truth telling.
Okay. Right.
So I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's one strike against her.
Yeah.
So I go digging, and she says that one of the items that she had stolen was completely missing, and she didn't know what it was, and it was a great heirloom. Well, I go to this house.
She said she stole an heirloom, but I don't know what it was.
No. She said that she'd stolen an heirloom from the house, and
right.
she didn't know where it was gone to. It was just gone, and she was crying, and it was just an heirloom that she had loved, and it was gone.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So, I go to the house to serve her with a subpoena to have her come in and testify in deposition and take a picture of this heirloom in her house that she had forgot to hide after the police had left. And they were like 4 or 5 of these things that she had done. I don't remember all of them, but they were a bunch of things that she had lied about that I had proved wasn't true. So I go over to the Roswell Police Department, and I asked to speak to the detective in charge of this case. And it was Ken Krause. And I go back, and I give Ken Krause all of my evidence showing that she wasn't in class when this happened, and all these other evidence. Now, you would think that would end my portion of this, that I would be done. You would think that's the end of the story.
Right.
But remember, this woman's a Black Widow.
Yeah.
It doesn't end there, Vinnie.
Yeah.
So
this was your first time meeting Ken Krause?
This was my very first time meeting Ken Krause. I walked into Ken Krause's office, and Ken Krause was a very nice man, and he listened to what I had to say. He didn't have a whole lot to say. All he said was, I'll check into it.
Okay.
He goes, I'll look into it and see what we got.
Okay.
And Ken Krause was a very...
Now, I just want to repeat this. Now, I know. I mean, those of you that are listening, you probably got it and everything, and I got it too. But I just want to make sure. This Black Widow, she claimed this woman broke into her house, stole all this stuff, and she didn't even bother hiding the stuff.
Exactly.
So there, you, by just being at her house, she didn't even have the good sense to tell to
take it out of the window view. The curtains were open, and I just snapped a picture through the window of it sitting there.
But she didn't have the good sense to hide it from the detective or from the private investigator.
Well, she hid it from the detectives when the detectives showed up to interview her at the house.
Oh, okay.
But she didn't hide it after the detectives left.
She put it back.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm still trying to serve her with a subpoena. So I meet Ken. Ken is right down the middle. Ken is one of these detectives that he's got blinders on. He doesn't see either side. He sees evidence. So I lay the evidence on his desk, and I keep trying to serve this Black Widow. So I go back to the Black Widow's house about a week later, and there is a business card on her door in plain view that says Federal Probation Officer. I take a picture of this, back then in the late 90s, we didn't have cell phones with cameras on it. So I took a picture, had the picture developed,
Yeah.
and I took it to Ken and I said, here's her probation officer. Ken said, interesting. And so Ken checks this out, and she's on federal probation. Somehow, and Ken will have to tell you the story behind it. I'm just not really sure. But she lied on a federal agent in Alabama and tried to cost him his job for something that she had done in Alabama and to try to destroy his life. That's when we dubbed her the Black Widow.
Yeah.
Because every man she came in touch with, she tried every way in the world to destroy their life.
Right.
She caused this guy all kinds of trouble. She told his wife, and she was cheating on him and everything. And
but she wasn't cheating on him. But she wasn't cheating with him.
As far as we know, she wasn't. We don't know much about that case. I don't. Ken may know more about it.
Okay.
So so Ken investigates and finds out all the evidence that I gave him was true. So he went and arrested her for falsifying a police report. And when he arrested her for falsifying a police report, it automatically revoked her federal probation. So the feds coming over here. She sat in Roswell for like a month waiting on the feds to come and pick her up.
In jail in Roswell County.
In Roswell jail.
Yeah.
So when she was sitting in jail over here, I went over and served her in the jail while she was in jail with the subpoena. She can't hide from me now.
Yeah.
Right. She's in this little 12 by 12 cage. And I just go over. I didn't really feel sorry for her with her being locked up because she was a monster. I mean, this girl was a complete monster. She had this guy, our client had to take her husband off of the bank accounts, off of the retirement accounts, off of the IRAs and everything, because he was draining everything and giving it to this woman and spending it on this woman because she was absolutely just draining him of everything that he had.
Right.
And he was stupid enough to give it to her.
Right.
So our client, the judge gave us permission to block him from everything. So we blocked him from everything, and he hadn't even know where to stay because eventually the Black Widow left him because we had her put in jail.
Right.
So he had no, tail to chase.
Right.
And then he started begging to come back.
Of course.
So after the federal probation was revoked, she went to jail, and they come and picked her up. So we thought, well, this is the end of it. No way.
No way. Oh boy.
Nope. So I get a phone call one day, and it's the attorney's secretary. And he said, he used the real name, but he said, the Black Widow is suing me, the attorney, the police officer, and you on some kind of federal charges for interfering with her federal case. I said, what do you mean interfering with her federal case?
Right.
I said, we didn't interfere with her federal case. They go, well, we know you didn't interfere with it. You just found the evidence, but she's named you in the lawsuit. So I got named in this federal lawsuit along with Ken Krause and the attorney. But the attorney, we ended up having to hire an attorney, some bigwig attorney out of Atlanta. And thank God the divorce attorney paid for everything.
Right.
And it went on for about a month. And then the judge threw it out, or somebody threw it out, prosecutor, somebody threw it out. But she tried to have us arrested, tried to sue us for millions of dollars for having her federal probation revoked. And she hired the most dirty attorney in the state of Georgia.
Right.
Who stays on the disciplinary bar's radar of getting disbarred all the time.
Right.
I mean, constant.
Yeah.
And that's who she went and hired.
Right.
So after we beat this case, you would think it was over.
Let me ask something real quick about this lawsuit. Was she trying to get money, Or was
Yes, she was
oh,
trying. Well, she tried to get us arrested, and she couldn't
right,
and then so she sued us on a civil case, trying to sue us civilly,
right.
trying to get money.
What, claiming like
We
injury?
violated her civil rights, saying that we interfered with her civil rights by having her arrested, but we didn't have her arrested.
Right, right.
The police officer arrested her for falsifying a police report,
Right.
and by her getting arrested for falsifying a police report, uh, was a violation of her probation for lying on a federal agent in Alabama, because she went to court and was found guilty or pleaded guilty or whatever the case may be.
Do you think she came up with that, or do you think the dirty lawyer came up with
The
that?
dirty lawyer came up
Yeah,
with that.
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
but she went along with it.
Of course,
Yeah,
because he's selling her on, oh, you're going to make all kinds of money, and I'll take 10% or whatever they take.
30%. Yeah,
30%. Yeah. Oh
yeah.
man.
So
So we think it's over, but it ain't over.
well, no. A few months or a year or so later, she calls the office wanting the attorney to represent her on a case.
The attorney.
No, the Black Widow.
I know the Black Widow hired or was
No, we wouldn't represent her,
right,
but she
right,
wanted us to.
right. Oh my God.
Yeah,
What case did she want? What was?
she'd got married, and I don't know what happened. I wasn't really interested in knowing. They just called laughing
Yeah.
because
Right.
Vinny, it was so far out and so ridiculous
Yeah. Yeah.
that we just laughed about it, because
Right.
there was no way we were going to get involved.
Right. Of course.
Because anytime that we heard the name,
Yeah.
and if you said the name to me today,
Yeah.
I'd run.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, everybody that she got involved with, was something happened, and
tortured in some way.
exactly, and the federal agent that she got involved with in Alabama was some kind of federal case where that she had destroyed somebody else's life
Oh God.
on some kind of drug deal or something. I don't even remember what it was, but everybody that she gets involved with, she destroys their life. So she had destroyed another man's life, and the FBI agent, I think it was FBI, is a federal agent, either FBI or DEA or something, that investigated her. She tried to destroy his life, and then so she got in trouble for that and was on federal probation, and then come to Atlanta and met this guy and destroyed his life, and then tried to destroy my life, Ken's life, and the attorney's life.
Right. Right.
And then after that, she destroyed somebody else's life and tried to hire our attorney because he did such a good job in our case.
Oh my God.
So this woman was just danger all the way around.
Yeah.
Just horribly, horribly dangerous all the way around.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I just had never seen the beat in all my life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I assume that the original client, the woman who was accused of this robbery, won the divorce and got everything she wanted. And
well, yeah, we got everything we wanted in that divorce and more.
okay.
Because I think I'm not even sure what the ruling was on that divorce, but I'm sure that he probably got awarded what he had spent, because he turned into a pretty bad alcoholic with this Black Widow.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure he was going through their savings like it was nothing. I mean, he was blowing through everything. I know she got the house.
Yeah. Good.
And I'm sure she got everything else. But he almost destroyed both of them. They were left with pretty much nothing when he got done.
Wow.
I mean, he was just, and that's what I'm saying. This woman was such a horrible, horrible person. She just destroyed everybody she got in touch with.
Yeah.
I mean, if she come in touch with you, you could just kiss yourself goodbye because it was over.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know, she was just, it was just an incredible. I've been involved in a lot of divorces.
Yeah.
I've worked a lot of divorce cases, and I've never seen a woman like this in my life ever.
Really? Now, I know it might be very difficult to look at her objectively, but was she like I mean, was she, um, extra fine? I mean, was she I mean,
She
was
was
women, that are like in that. I mean, they wield their power, and you know, is
she
that what?
was probably, you know, above average.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
wasn't one of these that you would
She
just
just had
say,
to talk. She had to talk.
um, she had the venom.
The venom.
She was she had the poison, Vinny. It wasn't.
So she was a con woman. She
She was a con woman.
con woman, and she just knew
Yeah.
the game. Okay.
It, it wasn't the looks. It wasn't the
She knew the game. She knew the game. Yeah.
and once she got her teeth sunken into you,
Yeah. Didn't let go.
she didn't let go.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know, uh, but she was one of these people that I know in our client's case that once she got her teeth sunken in, she used her power of saying, "Well, if you don't give me this, I'm going to tell your wife."
Yeah.
Now, with the federal agent that she was trying to, um, he was an undercover agent,
Yeah.
and I think what she was doing with him, from what I read in the file, is that she would lie on him and compromise his position and force him to either say, "Okay, I'm undercover with this gang," or I have to say that she's correct.
Right.
So one of those kind of con artist type that
Wow.
I'm
Wow.
not afraid to put your balls in a vice, and this is what
Yeah.
I'm going to do, and that's why she got in so much trouble.
Wow.
Is that for that reason? So she either had to, you either have to, and what happened is I think that his uh his duty or his job that he was on ended, and then they got her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I think that's what happened.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a wild ride. I'm telling you, it was a wild ride. I mean, it wasn't a you know I've been involved in hundreds of divorces,
Yeah.
hundreds of divorce cases, and this was the worst I've ever seen.
Never seen a woman like that.
Never seen a woman like this in my life, or a man. Never seen anybody that's willing to sacrifice everything to try to get somebody else just to say I got you.
To hurt
Because
somebody, just to hurt somebody. Yeah.
exactly, because what she was getting wasn't worth what she was getting.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
even if she would have taken everything this man had, it wouldn't have been enough for her to live 2 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was not her lifestyle,
Right.
because she liked to go to the club, she liked to party, she liked the drugs, she liked the alcohol, she liked to sleep all day, and she didn't want to work.
Right.
So there was not enough there's not enough money there for her to live her lifestyle.
Right.
So she needed to go after somebody bigger and bigger fish.
I wonder how long the trail went back,
Oh, probably.
all the way until she was 16, I would be willing to bet.
Oh, I would too. I'd say it went back to, I was going to say high school. I'd just about
Yeah.
guarantee you that if
Yeah.
you went back, that you'd find somebody in high school that she torched.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
guarantee it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no way around it.
No.
So next week, I spoke with Ken earlier today,
Okay.
and next week, Ken's willing to come on and tell his part of this story and what he done, and he's how I met Ken, and Ken's a great guy, and he was always the middle of the road police investigator who was he always had blinders on, and he never took sides, didn't care what it was.
That's what we need in cops. That's what we need in cops.
That's what we need, Vinny.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We don't have anymore, but that's what we need.
Absolutely.
But Ken was always down the middle of the road. I've known Ken for almost 30 years now. And
Okay.
Ken was always down the middle of the road, and he followed the evidence no matter where it took him, good or bad.
Okay.
And he was never willing to compromise that. And, I knew Ken for 25 years, 18, 20 years before I ever knew that he was a prisoner of war and the first man to be shot over in Iran.
Yeah.
And I've had some pretty good conversations with him about him being in that situation. and he has never ever acted like a hero. He don't like to be called a hero. He says he's not a hero. He said he just thanks God that he saved the lives that he saved. That's all he'll ever say to you.
Yeah, it's a good man.
He's a wonderful man, and so
And
next week,
isn't that what I'm sorry to interrupt you? Isn't that what his book is about? His book is about his time
yes,
over there, isn't it? Is
yes,
that yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
His book is about his time, about what he went through, about how he ended up over there,
Okay.
about when the walls were when the doors were breached and they come in and he tried to hold them off, um, and then he got shot, tortured, beaten, sentenced to death. His plane flight back, and the whole thing, and he comes back and he becomes a police officer.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing I asked him when I figured out that he had been over there after knowing him for 18, 20 years, is
Yeah.
why in the hell did you come back from after what you had been through and went to be a police officer?
Right. Good question.
Why?
Yeah.
But he'll explain all that to you. And so we'll talk to him about his book and everything. About he's a very interesting man. He'll
Okay.
be a good conversation.
I'm looking forward to that, and hey, I'm looking forward to having our first guest.
Yeah,
So that'll be cool. So
yeah.
come on back. We're gonna interview Ken Krause, um, an American hero, though he probably wouldn't like me to say that. Former police detective and a good friend of Lynn. And you probably you probably bumped into him several times with him investigating cases and you being involved in the cases, right? Am I
Well, this case here, this Black Widow case, was the only case that I really had a lot of dealings with him on cases. Now there was times that he kind of used me as a confidential informant, that he would ask me to get evidence that he couldn't get as a police officer.
Oh, that's cool.
He would ask me to do just little things, nothing big, never been dealing with anything crazy or nothing with anything dangerous, just small things.
Yeah. No. I like
You
that.
know,
Dude, see, now this right here, this sounds like a TV show. Ken and Lynn, like private eye and a cop, cooperating.
yeah. Well, I've always been pro police officer.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So, and when I met Ken, I wasn't jaded on police officers like I am these days. I
Yeah.
hadn't been through what I've been through.
Right.
And Ken will be the first to tell you that there's good cops and there's bad cops, and Ken don't like bad cops either.
Yeah.
So, we, if any good police officer asked me to help them do something honest, I'd help. If a
Absolutely.
bad police officer asked me to do something bad, I'd turn them in. So,
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
so that's just kind of the way I see it. But I would have helped Ken do anything. Ken became after what that Black Widow put us through.
Yeah.
Ken become like a family member to me. He's like a brother.
Yeah. You guys went through your own personal Vietnam together. So,
Well, I wouldn't say that after what Ken had been through, but
right. Well, of course.
but we had been through. We had been, baptized in the fires of hell together with this woman.
Yeah.
And she was rough on us, but we knew that it was going to turn out okay because we didn't do anything wrong. We walked the line, as far as they know, we walked the line.
Right.
I've been known to cross over that line to get evidence that I need sometimes, but
of course.
So.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's a lesson to everybody out there. Always tell the truth, and then you don't have nothing to worry about. You'll get through the hell. Yep. Well, that's something to look forward to. I definitely do. I hope you guys will come back. Our first interview with Ken Krause. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Vinnie Coppola. If you like stand-up comedy and goofy videos, check out my site, my social media. You can find all the links on my website, which is vinnie.com, www.vinnie.com. And if you need a detective, if you need to find somebody, if you need to serve papers, if you need something that Lynn can help you with, be sure to look him up. He's one of the best in Atlanta. Tell him your website again, Lynn.
It's LWIA LWIAS.com.
LWIAS.com. And thank you, Simple Funding, for sponsoring another one of our episodes.
And that is simplefundingllc.com.
Exactly. Simplefundingllc.com. Thank you so much for being here. Please come back next week for the interview with Ken Krause. Thanks, everybody.